session today, and I will wait for Jeff's thumbs up to see everything looks good. I believe he can see us live on Facebook. Yes, and here we are. Well, happy lunch hour, everyone, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. For those who are joining us via Zoom, thank you so much for joining our discussion series via Zoom. And if you are watching us via Seed Winnipeg Facebook group, well, thank you for watching us via Facebook. For those of you who are new to the discussion series, my name is Farah and I am the Recognition Counts Outreach and Marketing Coordinator at Seed Winnipeg. And I do have my colleague here, Jeff, who is the Recognition Counts Loan Coordinator. At Recognition Counts, we help and support internationally educated professions with financial consultation and as well as a loan of up to $30,000 to get their credentials recognized and start their career in their field of expertise. With that saying, if you are that one, or if you know anyone who can get the benefit from the service we provide and the programs we offer at Seed, do please pass the information and connect with us, contact us, just email me or email Jeff, however you prefer. We're more than happy to provide the service, and we take it from there. We are going to discuss about rent-to-own plans in today's discussion series. And if you have missed participating in our last few sessions, please visit Seed Winnipeg Facebook page or YouTube channel, as they are recorded there, and you can just watch it on your own time whenever you would like. I believe my colleague Jeff just dropped the link in the chat menu. So if you are joining via Zoom, you can just click on that, and it will also go on a Facebook comments spot as well that you can click it there. Again, the discussion series will be informative and interactive, where I will provide information I got from Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, and Jeff will share his perspective on his previous work experience working at financial industries for many years. So let's begin our session with the land acknowledgement. Seed respectfully acknowledges that we live and work on the territories and homeland of Indigenous peoples, and that the land and water sustain us. We respect the treaties as intended by Indigenous peoples. It is our responsibility to understand the truth of our history, be aware of the present, and work with Indigenous peoples to make positive changes for the future. Thank you very much for reflecting with us. Last session on August 2nd, we discussed about what is buy now, pay later plan. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these kind of plans, and what are the types of buy now and pay later plans. So if that's something that you're interested, but unfortunately you weren't able to join us, it is recorded on our Facebook. Do please go and visit there and watch it. Today's discussion, we are going to discuss about what is rent-to-own plans, what are the advantages and disadvantages of rent-to-own plans, and what happens if you can't make your rent-to-own payments. With that, let's start off of what is rent-to-own plans. So nowadays, there are companies who offer rent-to-own plans. You can use these plans for purchase of furniture, appliances, electronics, and cars, and many more items out there. And these plans are also called lease-to-own, rent-to-buy, option leases, and consumer leases. And with these kind of plans, you can do your payments over a certain period of time. And the rent-to-own plan is typically an agreement for the rental of an item. You will not own the item actually until you have met the conditions in your rent-to-own agreements. And in addition to your monthly payment, you may have to also pay certain fees. And these can include an additional amount to pay if you want to purchase the item. And let's say you change your mind, or if you don't want to purchase the item, what you can do is just return the item back to the company. But keep in mind that the amount you have paid in the past, that won't be saved as an equity. So rent-to-own options are also offered for the purchase of a home, but keep in mind that these are not the same as rent-to-own plans, and they are often referred to rent-to-own homes. If you wanted to get more information for those, it's best that you contact your provincial or territorial consumer affairs office and get more information about that, and if the options exist in your province. So who offers rent-to-own plans? Rent-to-own plans are typically they are being offered nowadays by companies specializing in the rental products. And these companies usually have limited inventory, and their prices are usually higher than the retail stores. And for example, some places like rent-to-own providers, they are also known as a lease providers, like car rental companies or used car dealerships. They provide these rent-to-own plans. And how rent-to plans really work? For rent-to-own plans, you need to provide certain documents in order to be able to sign the agreement. And you need to provide a regular income. You need to show that you have a stable income coming in, which means a stable job, and a permanent address. And based on whichever province or territory you are living, there may be some specific disclosure requirements related to rent-to-own plans that the company you're signing the agreement, they have to provide all those information to you. And with your plan, you will sign an agreement and make a regular rental payments. Based on that, the company, you may also have different ways to pay. And again, they might provide you a few options. They might have the option of that you be able to pay it online or through your checking account, which comes automatically as a pre-authorized debit. Or they might even offer you as a cash form that you just go to the store and pay it regularly like that. But that's again, you have to talk with the company and find out what options they have. And usually they do this and provide that information when you are signing an agreement with them at that time. And many rent-to-own companies include the cost of delivery and setup in the price of the rent-to-own plans. So let's say if you decide that actually after some time you really don't want this product and you wanted to return it back. In that case, if it was shipped to you and they're requesting you to ship it back, then they may ask you to pay for the shipping and other fees associated with it. And ask your rent-to-own company if the product you are getting is a brand new product or is it a used one, because some rent-to-own companies may offer products that are slightly used or refurbished, and rent-to-own companies may also offer products that are discontinued or no longer being offered by a manufacturer. So in this case, you have to you should think hard and make sure to think that, okay, if I'm gonna buy this product that is no longer being offered by a manufacturer, what if it's not gonna work and something goes wrong and I need some sort of some part for it? Can I find those or not? Because if it goes wrong and you can't use it, then it's useless. It's more of like one-time use kind of product. So make sure you look into every side of it before purchasing it. And check your rent-to-own company's policies on repairs and replacement. Do they have any way of repairing it for you for free or replacing those the item parts? What is their policy in that regards? And what services comes with it? So How much does a rent-to-own plan cost? So keep in mind that rent-to-own plans could be very expensive, and there is a possibility that you may even be paying anywhere between from 2 to 5 times the regular retail price. So first, make sure you look into, do you really need this to purchase this item? Do you really need to purchase this product at this time? Whether or not rent-to-own plan is really right for you at that time and your future. And if you don't need it, can you wait and start saving for that item or before purchasing it and using the rent-to-own option? It might even be better to choose different options out there. Like, for instance, like there are some other options that you can use. Maybe even credit card is the best option to purchase that item at that moment, because that credit card do provide you a grace period of 30 days. So let's say you can pay your credit card back fully within 30 days, then you can use it. But keep in mind, credit card also has a high interest. So I'm just giving these as an option of alternative, not giving you a suggestion to use these option. Or line of credit may be a better option where the interest rate is lower. And this can help you determine if there are like cheaper alternatives. And most retail stores offer other financing options like retail credit cards with no interest rate for certain time, or the option we talked last time, buy now, pay later plan, might be another better option. So again, these are just different options that we are providing, but I am not suggesting at all. They might be less expensive than rent-to-own plans. And some rent-to-own companies offer an option that's called same as cash. And if you choose this option, you will not need to pay additional fee if you pay the full amount within a set amount of days. And typically you have to pay the full amount within 90 or 120 days of your purchase date. But make sure you do all your research, all your due diligence before signing up for this plan. And it is possible that the product that you will be purchasing, which is the same as a cash option, is much more expensive than what you can buy at the retail store. So do your comparison and see if it's really worth using this option to buy this item. And when you get an item with a rent-to-own plan, the rent-to-own company will give you a quote for a regular payment amount. And to get this amount, they will include the retail price of the item offered with the same as cash option and any other fees that comes with it. And this amount will be divided into the equal payments. While the regular payment amount might not seem very expensive, but consider the total cost before making your purchase. And you can also calculate the total cost of purchase by multiplying the regular payment amount by the number of payments in your plan. We will look into an example, so it gets a little bit more simplified on regards to what we discussed. So let's suppose you are interested in purchasing a sofa. And this sofa is like costing you $800 in a retail store, but it is costing you $1,350 at a rent-to-own company. And this is a chart that I think I thought it would be easier to see the difference, and that's why I just from FCAC Canada, I just took this picture and put it here. So this sofa is costing $800 in a retail store, but if you use the same as cash option, it is costing $1,350. If you use the same as cash option and to purchase the sofa. And you choose to purchase the sofa on a rent-to-own plan, and the rent-to-own company may offer you various monthly payment option, which that includes certain fees in addition to the price. So for example, If you choose rent to own plan, they might say that, okay, you gotta pay $22 per week for 104 weeks. So keep in mind, $22 per week. Maybe $22 is not a huge amount at that moment when they say, oh, yeah, weekly, you just have to pay $22. It doesn't seem a lot of money. But at the end, when you calculate, actually, if you are paying $22 every week for 104, you will be in reality paying $2,288. And I got that number by multiplying that $22 with 104 weeks. That is a lot of money. That's basically $1,488 more than the original price, which is actually $800 that you could have bought at a retail store. And I found that a difference by subtracting 2,288 by 800, and I got 1,488. If you choose the rent to own plan, you will be paying $1,488 more than what the original price you can pay for that sofa. And the same, even if you are choosing the same as cash plan, you are paying $1,350, and you are actually paying $550 more than what it originally costs you. So in both cases, whether you use same as cash option or rent to own plan, both cases you are paying higher price and you're paying way more money than you could by just paying that other retail store. So in this scenario, looking at it, the best option would be, if you really don't need this sofa right now, it's best to just start saving for the sofa. Dedicate an account for your the sofa that you really wanted to purchase and set a time. By that time, divide it by how much you wanted to save per week, per month, or bi-weekly, or every paycheck comes in, and just keep saving until it gets to the point where you feel like, well, I'm ready to buy that sofa or whatever item you're interested in buying. Then you would be interested to know then what are actually the advantages of this rent to own plans then. Well, it may be something you need because like it's an item that you really, really need, like an appliance or furniture, and you can spread the payment over a period of time that fits your budget, such as like that $22 they will ask you to pay every week. That might not seem quite a lot, but keep in mind at the end, it's going to become a lump sum. And it may be something you might not be able to pay for right away, because like at that moment they're not asking you to pay the full amount. That might be an advantage. You may get a free repairs or replacement. That's again with the company's policy. You have to talk with them. Is this something that you're interested in receiving free repairs and replacement in exchange of paying a extra higher cost? And most companies approve customers who have no credit score or a low credit score. And if you receive this plan and they are registered with the credit bureau, so if you receive that and you do your payments on time, that may help you build a better credit score down the road. So the disadvantages are like you may pay very high fees on top of the price of the item, which we just saw in that example of buying a sofa for. You can actually buy them for an $800, but if you use any of the options, same as cash or rent to own, you are paying way more than you could pay just at the retail price. You need to make your payments on time, or you could pay extra fees or lose the right to purchase the item. And you might be able to tempted to take on a debt that you cannot afford in the future. Maybe today, like I think that, okay, I can just take this sofa. It's only $22. I can do it. What if I lose my job next day and that $22 seems quite a lot for me to pay it back? And it feels a little bit of burden that's going to impact my mental health. And it is more expensive than any other financing options that's out there. And if you return the item, let's say you're like, I cannot pay this anymore, um, then there's no equity build it. You lost everything that you have paid in the past. And let's say by returning, there's also possibility that you may have to pay extra fees. If there is like wear or a tear, they might ask you to pay extra other fees for those. And if, let's say, you miss any sort of payments, that could hurt your credit score. And again, if the company reports to credit bureau. And what happens if you can't make your rent-to-own payments? But we have already touched base on that. So again, if you can no longer afford to make your payments, you can return the item to the rent-to-own company, but you won't get back the money that you have paid, that however long you have paid. And if you miss a payment, the company may take back or repossess the item, and you will have to pay for the item in full to keep it. You may also have to pay a penalty fee for the breaking your rent-to-own agreement. And again, the terms and conditions of your rent-to-own agreement will tell you what happens if you miss a payment. So before signing any sort of agreement, make sure you do read all those agreements. Again, before you sign up for a rent-to-own plans, consider a few options. Do you really need this item at this moment? And do you really think it's a good idea to purchase this item in a very high cost? And while you could buy it in a lower price in a retail store and you don't feel burden or a debt of keep paying going forward. And make sure if you choose that, okay, I really need to take this item or purchase this, make sure you stay on top of your payment and do not miss any payment. And also always think of a backup plan in case in the future you won't be able to do the payments. What would you do? What is your plan next? With that, I will open the floor to Jeff. Jeff, is there anything that you wanted to add on that, any advice, recommendation, suggestion, or anything that I didn't cover that you think would be helpful for our audience there?
I mean, I think it's just helpful to bear in mind that this is a very expensive route to take for financing, no matter what way you look at it. You know, when we looked at that slide before where you showed the cost of the, you know, like a cash option and the other, like that's really expensive. And so I would say that this is very likely going to be an option of last resort for people. You know, because the one advantage that rent to own plans have is that sometimes the monthly payment can be affordable. And that monthly payment being affordable isn't the same as what that loan's going to cost over the life of the payments for that loan or that rent to own agreement. So yeah, just as Farnaz has been saying all the way through, make sure you read the terms and conditions, make sure you understand the costs, make sure you understand the payment obligations and things like that. And check in with your own financial budget and whatnot to make sure that you have the financial stability and the capacity to be able to meet the ongoing payments that will be required. Because the last thing you want to do is, you know, make 6 months of rent to own payments and then find out, oh, I can't continue this. And now the equity that I've just given them for 6 months is gone. I'm not going to get that back. So yeah, make sure you do your research and ask questions and get advice where you need it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jeff. With that, I will stop our live stream so we can open the floor to live questions on the Zoom link here. But before doing that, do we have any question on Facebook comments or no? Okay, perfect. Just
Yeah,
want to
nothing
make
on
sure.
Facebook.
So I'm gonna go and stop live streaming so we can open the floor to our Zoom participants there if they would like to ask anything or discuss about anything.